This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
With the dramatic results of the 2009 Knesset elections. And with 99.7% of the ballots counted, Kadima retains a narrow lead of 1 seat over Likud. The votes of soldiers and diplomats stationed abroad still have not been counted. Kadima has 28 mandates compared to 27 seats for Likud. Yisrael Beitenu is in 3rd place with 15 seats, and Labor is 4th with 13. In 5th place is Shas with 11 seats, followed by the United Arab List with 5. With 4 seats are United for Judaism, the National Union, and Hadash. Then comes Meretz and Habayit Hayudi with 3 seats. Balad received 2 mandates. The final results, including votes from the soldiers and overseas emissaries, will only be published next Wednesday. Voter turnout was 65.2%, which is more than 2% higher than the 2006 national elections, but still the 3rd worst voter turnout in Israeli history. And what do these results mean for the Israeli political map and for what will surely be a complex process of coalition building? IBA's Eli Wogelanter brings us the inside scoop.
Today was the morning after, a day of political positioning and posturing. As Israelis stopped to reflect on what their vote had wrought for the country, the heads of the political parties scrambled to see what it would mean for them, the building of a political coalition. With the final vote separating the 2 main parties, Kadima and Likud, by 1 seat, both Tzipi Livni and Benjamin Netanyahu held talks with different parties all day, trying to become the one called upon by President Shimon Peres to form a governing coalition. Livni held talks with Israel Beitenu leader Avigdor Lieberman, who seems to be the man in the middle. With 15 seats, Lieberman could make or break either block of seats being formed. Livni told Lieberman that the election results had presented a chance for a national unity government. This is an opportunity for unity in which we can advance issues that are also important to you, Livni said to the Israel Beitenu chairman. Lieberman was to meet later in the day with Likud chair Netanyahu, who had already met with Shas leader Eli Yishai. Israel Beitenu officials emphasized that their party would not rule out sitting in the same government coalition together with Shas, despite criticism by Shas spiritual leader Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Israel Beitenu's secular policies. One thing Knesset members from both parties agreed on was that there was no interest in establishing a leadership rotation, as there was between Yitzhak Shamir and Shimon Peres in 1984. Meanwhile, today was also a day for reflection on what the new political map says about the Israeli voter. While the Kadima party retained its electoral strength, its votes came from those who in the past voted for Labor, once the largest party in Israel, and the far-left Meretz, which has almost disappeared with only 3 members. Kadima's strength, it appears, came from the left and is an indication that most of Israel's leftists are moving right. While Kadima may have won 1 more seat than Likud, the overall map shows the nationalist parties with a clear majority, making it extremely unlikely that Kadima will be able to form a coalition.
The Israeli voter has decided that he supports the right-wing bloc, which received, according to the last results, about 65 out of 120. However, the voter did not support Netanyahu as the first candidate for prime minister.
President Peres has a week to decide who he thinks has the best chance to form that coalition, and then the real horse trading will begin. Eli Wogelanter, IBA News.
And Yisrael Beitenu leader Avigdor Lieberman said he hoped to be able to deliver to the satisfaction of the Israeli people following his party's strong showing in yesterday's balloting.
We need the government in very short time. And it's our position. We will try to do everything that the people of Israel can look forward, can look for the better future, and we will discuss now about our position, about our view for our future. Thank you very much.
تتنازع زعيمة حزب كديمة تسيبي ليفني الفوز برئاسة الحكومة مع بنيامين نتنياهو.
The leader of the Kadima party, Zivi Livni, claimed a victory, and so did Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of the Likud party. Although the right-wing leader Netanyahu has one less seat, he seems to be in a better position to form a coalition government since he has the support of the majority in the Knesset. This new development, which became a reality after the Israeli elections, may undermine the peace process. According to the final results today, the Kadima party led by Livni won 28 Knesset seats out of 120, only one seat more than the Likud party. Therefore, Livni may not be able to form a coalition government with the 61 seats needed for any coalition government. This puts the extremist right-wing party Yisrael Beitenu, led by Avigdor Lieberman, in an extremely powerful position.
هي الكلمة الفصل.
الانتخابات العامة الإسرائيلية المبكرة حسمت الاختيار.
The results of the early Israeli general elections are final. According to Israeli media, the Kadima party won by only one seat. It acquired 28 seats, which is the same number of seats the party had in the previous Knesset.
It is a wonderful day for Israel. The people have chosen Kadima, and we will continue this message by establishing a government coalition under our leadership.
The
Likud party won 27 seats. It more than doubled the number of seats it had at the previous Knesset, which was only 12.
I'm sure that I will head the new government, and I'm sure that I will be able to establish a strong and stable government that can help deal with the security and economic problems.
The Yisrael Beitenu, led by Avigdor Lieberman, won 15 seats. The party had only 13 seats in the previous Knesset.
Our primary goal is to get rid of Hamas. We do not have time for direct or indirect negotiations with Hamas.
حزب العمل بقيادة وزير الدفاع الحالي أهود باراك تراجع.
The Labour Party, led by the Defense Minister Ehud Barak, lost 5 seats in the new Knesset. The Labour used to have 18 seats in the previous Knesset. The polarization to the right has created political ambiguity in Israel pertaining to who will be the next Prime Minister. Chances that Tzipi Livni can establish a coalition government under her leadership are weak, if not impossible. This will be the first time in the 60 years of Israel's history in which the party that wins the elections will not be able to form a coalition government. The final word on who should form the government will go to Israeli President Shimon Peres. After consulting with other political parties, he will have to make a decision on whether to assign the task of forming a coalition government to Livni or to Netanyahu. Khaled Al-Kashef, Al-Arabiya.
Palestinian newspapers reflected the concern of Palestinians towards the peace process and the living conditions in the Palestinian territories in the wake of the Israeli elections. Ordinary Palestinians expressed pessimism when asked about the Israeli elections.
Palestinians have contradictory positions towards the Israeli general elections. They followed the Israeli elections very closely, but they still told us that they are very pessimistic that the elections' results will affect them in any tangible way.
The candidates are the same, regardless if the Labour, Kadima, Shas, or even the Lieberman's party wins. The results will be the same for us as Palestinians.
All of them have the same policies.
Some expressed pessimism, while others said that they are indifferent when they learned that the Kadima party led by Tzipi Livni won. Yusuf, one of Gaza's residents, is convinced that the elections will not have any effect on Israel's policy towards the Palestinians.
Nothing will change. The situation will continue to be the same. There will only be more blood and siege.
From a political perspective, Hamas and Fatah expressed similar views towards the Israeli elections when it comes to evaluating the result and its implications.
We do not differentiate between Zionist parties. There is no difference between Livni, Barak, or Netanyahu.
We must confront all forces that threaten anyone.
The views of young men in Hebron were similar to the views of those in Gaza. They also were indifferent toward the results of the Israeli elections. Their living conditions have not improved. For them, it is okay to spend their time playing chess and drinking tea while waiting for new policies of the new Israeli government. Based on their long experience, nothing has changed. Muna Durati, Al Arabiya.
Israel is looking ahead to weeks of political uncertainty, with Foreign Minister Tzipi Livni and ex-Premier Benjamin Netanyahu remain locked in a battle for power. Livni's centrist Kadima party won 28 seats in the 120-member parliament. Kadima was just one ahead of Netanyahu's Likud party. However, Livni immediately started coalition talks and met with ultra-nationalist Avigdor Lieberman. Lieberman did not clarify his position. Later in the day, also met with Netanyahu. Netanyahu is believed by most analysts to return to Israel's most powerful post. In theory, he can rally 65 seats, including those of ultra-Orthodox Shas and the religious united Torah Judaism. On the other hand, Livni can count on the support of 44 MPs, including Kadima's 28 and those of Labour and the left-wing Meretz. With Netanyahu's likelihood growing, many say that peace talks with Palestinians will receive a major setback. Under Israel's political system, it's the president who tasks the new prime minister with forming a cabinet. Therefore, winning the votes does not necessarily mean winning the post. President Shimon Peres is expected to begin consultations next week. Well, senior Hamas officials have arrived in Cairo for the latest round of indirect talks for a ceasefire with Israel. The Palestinian resistance movement says the conditions it has suit for truce with Tel Aviv will stay. The senior delegation is led by Hamas's deputy head Musa Abu Marzouk. The delegation will meet Egyptian intelligence chief Omar Soleiman on Thursday. The envoy said they would ask Egypt if there are guarantees for Israel to abide by Hamas's conditions, including the permanent opening of Gaza crossings. Egypt has been mediating a truce in Gaza after Israel ended a deadly 22-day offensive in Gaza. Meanwhile, senior Hamas leader Mahmoud al-Azhar reiterated that this movement will not give concessions over its conditions for a ceasefire. Azhar said Israel will have to end aggression, lift the Gaza siege and open all crossings into the impoverished territory. Well, here at home, leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, says the victory of the Palestinians over Israel in the Gaza war was a miracle. Ayatollah Khamenei says one of the victories of the Palestinian resistance was the win to win the support of the world public opinion. Iran's leader warned about a psychological warfare aimed at blaming the resistance groups for the suffering of the Palestinians. Ayatollah Khamenei made the remarks at a meeting with Secretary General of the Palestinian resistance movement Islamic Jihad, Ramdan Abdullah. Abdullah said the defeat of Israel in the Gaza war heralds the final victory of the Palestinians. Abdullah also met Iran's Parliament Speaker Ali Larijani.
According to a spokesman of the Minister of Health in Afghanistan, 26 civilians were killed and dozens were injured in an attack by the Taliban in Kabul. All 7 armed men were killed in the attack that targeted both the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Justice.
Taliban spokesman Thabiullah Mujahid said that the attacks were in retribution for the execution of several members of the Taliban inside Afghani prisons by the Ministry of Justice. Details are provided by Abed al-Rahman Matar from Kabul.
معركة حقيقية أمام وزارتي المالية والتعليم.
The battle in front of the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, and inside the Ministry of Justice emphasizes the complex security situation in Afghanistan. After 2 hours of back-and-forth shooting, the Afghani military, the police, ISAF troops, NATO, and the U.S. Marines were finally able to stop 3 armed men from taking over the Ministry of Justice. A 4th armed man was killed and the 5th one blew himself up. This is proof of the violent situation in Afghanistan.
The attack was very violent. The attackers killed the building security men, and then 3 of them invaded the building. They were shooting at anyone they would see in front of them. They killed everyone inside their offices.
2 other armed men failed to invade the prison's administration building in northern Kabul. The attacks signified the strength of the Taliban that was able to set off 4 attacks in Kabul in one day.
We were shocked when we saw 2 armed men shooting rapidly. Then, after a few moments, we heard 2 explosions. I got shot in my leg and head. A number of my colleagues got shot too.
Afghans are very concerned with the unstable security situation, especially after it reached a point that cannot be tolerated even by those who do not care about politics. The streets of Kabul are closed. Security men have spread in the streets, and an investigation is about to take place. However, the reality is clear and security is a huge challenge. Abdulrahman Matar, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
ومعنا من كابول شكرية باركزاي عضو مجلس النواب.
From Kabul, Shukriya Barkizai, a member of the Afghani parliament. Mrs. Shukriya, how do you explain this huge security breach in Kabul?
It's hard to explain. It
is hard to explain what happened. The city suddenly appeared to be dead due to the suicide attacks and the number of casualties. The citizens do not know why this suicidal person wants to kill Afghans in Kabul. We are sick and tired of paying the price due to being categorized under different titles and names. We are always the victims. Sometimes we are killed by missile launchers and warplanes, and we are told it is friendly fire. At other times, the suicide bombers kill, and we do not know why. The situation was very bad. It was a disaster, and the people of Kabul and Afghanistan are crying about their fate. The people are suffering and in pain, yet we do not know when this will end. We hope that today's attack is the last of its kind, even though we know we will face worse problems in the future.
Building a new strategy and adopting different options. Under this headline, Obama's Representative Richard Holbrooke received his difficult task as U.S. Special Envoy to Pakistan and Afghanistan, with a special focus on the U.S. war on terror. Holbrooke held talks with senior Pakistani officials, including President Asif Ali Zardari. In these meetings, both sides signed a bilateral cooperation agreement in which they will form a joint team to review the country's policies. The leaders discussed ways to stop the use of tribal areas along the Pakistan-Afghan borders as safe havens for armed al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters. From Islamabad, our reporter Mayub Khodr.
A tough and serious mission that requires listening more than talking. This was the slogan raised by President Obama's Special Envoy to Pakistan and Afghanistan, Richard Holbrooke, during his visit to Islamabad. The purpose of the visit is to examine the mistakes of the past and learn from them, especially those committed in the name of the war on terror. The goal is also to build a new strategy that will put an end to this 8-year-old lingering war.
What we have agreed on today was the formation of a work team led by me as Foreign Minister of Pakistan and Holbrooke from the US side.
The policy of the war on terror is on its way out, a change of policy that may hopefully lead to an end to this war, thus putting the political option on the same table with the military one.
Now I feel that President Obama will listen to the largest possible number of voices before drafting his country's policies. These policies will require unanimous approval, not only on the U.S. internal front, but also on the regional level, especially among those countries concerned with the war on terror.
In a meeting with Holbrooke, President Asif Ali Zardari requested a halt to the U.S. airstrikes inside Pakistani territories, which have shaken the popularity of the ruling People's Party. However, the Kashmir plight, which Pakistan believes is one of the reasons for the spread of terrorism in the entire region, was omitted from Holbrooke's agenda. Pakistan, just like the U.S., is in danger. This is a brief description of the message carried by Holbrooke to Islamabad. This revelation is putting Pakistan under more U.S. pressure, which aims to counter the growing Taliban influence in the region. This comes despite the optimism that surrounded the visit. Mayub Khader, Dubai TV, Islamabad.
The Egyptian parliament, headed by Dr. Ahmed Fatih Saffour, has decided to suspend the participation of parliament member Ahmed Badr al-Din in future sessions until the end of the term.
The parliamentary decision to punish MP Ahmed Badr al-Din was justified due to the fact that Din has raised his shoes during a January 8th parliamentary session. The session was designated for discussing the Israeli aggression on Gaza.
The Egyptian parliament decision to punish parliament member Ashraf Badr al-Din came after the ethics committee has released a report showing that he had raised his shoe in violation of parliamentary ethics and practices.
The committee concluded that the incident of raising the shoe did take place by the Honorable Ashraf Mahmoud Badr al-Din. This incident shows a grave violation to Articles 3285, 2370, and 377 of parliamentary regulations.
There were mixed opinions at the parliament on whether or not to suspend the participation of parliament member Mahmoud Badr al-Din until the end of the fourth session.
I want to defend my own dignity before the National Democratic Party. With due respect to the National Democratic Party, this is not right.
I think everyone knows that he did not mean it. This was clear in the report of the violation.
My honorable colleague acknowledged that this incident took place, but he told me that he raised the shoe against the Zionist enemy. It appears that the action committed is against the law, but in reality the intentions were not visible.
I hope that the Parliament and the majority party do not stop the dialogue between us.
Getting angry does not justify violating traditional parliamentary norms. This was the decision of parliament members who called to continue the dialogue between the government and the opposition. This will strengthen the democratic system in Egypt, which is becoming more evident by the day.
The financial crisis which has hit the world and greatly affected Gulf countries has impacted Lebanese employees working there, especially in Dubai. A report by our colleague Ibrahim Dasuki sheds more light.
The image on the ground is different from the reported stories. Here, no one can deny that Dubai has been impacted by the global financial crisis, including the Lebanese residing in it. Some demonstrate this by pointing to the decline in traffic congestion, which just months ago was a feature of this city.
If you go to the market, you find that maybe some people are scared. There is fear. Nobody says, I want to take 2 steps tomorrow. They say, I will take them after tomorrow.
How much has the economic crisis in Dubai affected you?
Those who haven't left work were given a long leave. Some people saw that they can't wait because, as you know, the cost of living is high here. So they say that instead of waiting and taking a long leave without salary, let's move somewhere else.
If something happened to me in Dubai, if I went broke, I imagine I would go to any other foreign country that's far away. I wouldn't return to Lebanon because it is difficult to go back and have my parents spend money on me.
There is approximately 20 to 30% less work here.
If work opportunities continue to fall, what will you do?
God willing, that won't happen because it would be a crisis. We have families, responsibilities, and commitments. God willing, it won't happen. What happened was not expected and not calculated. All of a sudden, you sleep in peace and wake up the next day to find that things have changed. A financial crisis. Capitalists have withdrawn their money. The money of the country that was invested abroad is now frozen and not moving. I feel bad for the new Lebanese college graduates that are coming here. They are salesmen and executives in car companies. 3/4 of these good young men are coming here. Also, they have commitments. All of them will have to return to Lebanon. Where will they go? As Lebanese, we have a crisis.
Are there many cases where people have taken out loans and can no longer pay them?
Well, yes, especially those people who make between 2,000 and 2,500 dirhams. They have all been fired from their companies, so they can't pay. I don't know what will happen to them. You feel like the country has sort of emptied. It's no longer like before. There is no movement like before. People's confidence has changed.
Do you know many Lebanese who have left their jobs?
Yes.
Did they remain in Dubai or leave?
Some are still looking for other work, even for a lower salary. Before, we used to focus a lot on personal loans, credit cards, car loans. But now we're focusing more on deposits. People come and put money in the bank in large amounts. We're even giving high interest rates to encourage people to deposit at our bank. For example, before we had a 1.5% interest rate per month, or 6 months or per year. Now we're providing an annual or monthly rate of 5% and even 6% for deposits. At other banks, it's even higher, as high as 7%.
All the young men should plan to return, God willing, because Lebanon needs us. But the most important thing is to give us a chance and a stable country.
I have some building companies and some engineering consulting companies. The first to get hit was the consulting sector because there were no new projects, so Lebanese and other engineers had no work. They were forced to take a vacation until they return and figure out the situation because there's no demand.
Other clues of the growing crisis in Dubai can be seen by the large number of cars, whose owners left them behind in the parking lot of the Dubai International Airport with the keys and insurance information still inside. They return to their countries after losing their jobs and their ability to pay off their debts. Dubai is the land of dreams for many people who have ambitions for a better life and who are escaping the realities of their own countries. But now they find themselves stuck in a country which itself is in the midst of a global crisis. We hope that this country's economy does not collapse, so that their dreams do not collapse with it.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.